Welcome to NoFap Success Stories Part 4. NoFap LIBIDO is the theme of today's story. As you know, I will post a new NoFap success story every week from different people who are on this interesting NoFap journey. And today's story is from a guy who posted his NoFap success story on day 90. This NoFapper clearly had addiction-related brain changes, and it's interesting to see how he changed, especially the NoFap libido stuff. Hey, it's Scandinavian Bob here. This channel is all about becoming the strongest version of yourself, using interesting biological hacks, discovering smart self-improvement strategies, and by developing a stronger mindset. So start by subscribing, click on the bell notification, and let's get stronger. Okay, so here starts today's NoFap success story from today's NoFap warrior. He first gives us a brief story on how he was before he started NoFap, and then after that he tells about what changed after 90 days of NoFap. Before I started NoFap, I used to beat off to all kinds of weird stuff, and I noticed it got only weirder and weirder over time. I didn't like that, but somehow I just kept doing it and I got even more and more stuck. Just ordinary stuff didn't do anything for me anymore. I was getting more and more numb by all the sick stuff I was consuming. I recently read in a book that dopamine boosts even higher when there's an element of surprise, unpredicted stuff. This is also why slot machines work on the dopamine system. And it also shoots up if we are shocked or surprised. So I would spend all my time looking for more and more shocking things that I wouldn't predict would even exist. And this is how my viewing took some wild turns and escalated into all that weird stuff I mentioned. I used to watch hours and hours, marathon sessions. I created several compilation videos of just the scenes and acts I liked best, so I could cut out the time opening new files. If I wanted to see certain positions or certain acts, I would open one of my video files. What's even more disturbing is that I started to only date girls that allowed me to consistently escalate the sex so it matched what I was watching online. Girls who didn't or would not do that weren't even on my radar anymore. Basically, I quickly lost interest in girls who didn't seem like sluts. I can't emphasize enough how depraved I was. Socially, I never wanted to go out. Never. I thought that I hated people. I was very antisocial. I was also afraid of having people over at my place. How my life has changed after 90 days of NoFap and not one more second of online adult entertainment. One of the first things I noticed is that I started to see women differently. It was weird. I started to become attracted to parts of their personality, like learning someone played the violin, or a girl likes to run marathons, or she has strong opinions about issues, poverty, or something like that. Before I started NoFap, I could only think about 1. How hot the sex would be, 2. How many different weird things I could get her to try. My voice did become deeper, but also my social confidence massively increased. At work, I cared less about what others thought, while at the same time portraying myself in a better way. A great combination right there. I became more aware of the power and influence of social cues, behaviors that everyone else seemed to get way before me, before I started my NoFap journey. I am now able to talk to anyone or any girl at the bar. Don't get me wrong, I am not saying I can get the number of the hottest female in the place, but I'm not afraid to talk to her. I met an extremely great girl after doing my reboot. I would think this is due to me being more socially aware, being more in touch with my masculinity, like I'm radiating some core masculine energy or whatever. Or maybe it's also due to the fact that I'm now open to finding any kind of girl and not just someone who would agree to do weird stuff. The energy I devoted to beating off or creating compilations of all the stuff I downloaded, surfing for hours and hours, have now turned into exercising and bettering who I am as a man. Successfully overcoming the PMO addiction has given me a boost in life to improve in other areas as well. Quitting is hands down easily the best thing I ever done to better myself, but I also have to say it was also the most difficult thing I have ever done in my whole life as well. I don't fap anymore. I thought that I would miss it, and I used to think that guys who didn't were just weird or religious nutballs. Well, maybe I'm weird, but being intimate in real life now feels so much better, and my boners are also stronger. I can last as long or as short as I want, and I really enjoy it. I no longer need weird stuff in order to get going. I don't miss getting high from all that crazy stuff anymore. To sum it all up, I'm happier, better with people, more in touch with who I am, and constantly getting better. Oh, and I have a nice libido, magnetism, and rock hard boners. Okay, so that was today's story, and by his way of describing the escalation of what he was watching, he probably had some addiction-related brain changes. Because one of the first things that happens in addiction is tolerance. In other words, we get a numb reward center and downregulated dopamine receptors. So in order to get the same buzz, we need more stimuli. And this is when guys start to escalate into weirder and more shocking stuff. Another indicator is that his boners got stronger by stopping. And by the way, if this is something you have problems with, I have a blog post where I talk about a few tips on how to get harder boners with your girlfriend during NoFap, and I can put a link to it under this video for you. Now obviously, if you have problems, then doing NoFap is the #1 priority. But there are a few things we can do in addition to that can indeed be really helpful. And a lot of guys feel that they need some extra help during that time. And that's exactly why I created that blog post. Just click the link where it says blog post and you will find the tips there. Also, consider subscribing for more NoFap success stories to keep yourself inspired, because I will post a new story every week for years to come. Alright, this is Scandinavian Bob signing out for today, and as always, I wish you all the best in your journey to become the strongest version of yourself. And remember, as Winston Churchill used to say, if you're going through hell, keep going.